Hey, this is Matt, and I'm back again with our second deck matchup video of the day. Yeah, go watch my previous video on the with the Dragoon OTK matchup. I talk about in the beginning how I was gone for I was out of town for Thanksgiving, visiting family. But I'm back now, so I'll be making videos again. But yeah, there's a deck profile video update video coming up. Stay tuned for that. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do another matchup that I recorded at around the same time that I recorded my last matchup. This is another fun rogue deck. Yeah, there's been a lot of changes to the meta. Like, I'm gonna later go into changes to the main deck and how to match up against some of these new meta changes. But yeah, for now, let's do this fun video. So right now in this matchup, I'm against a Kaiju deck, right? So not exactly a Grand Maju OTK deck, but definitely a deck that's super rogue and kind of funny. Likes to go second. So yeah, let's get into it. So in this case, unlike the Grand Maju deck I faced, um, so I forget who wins the die roll. I think regardless of who wins the die roll, I'm gonna be going first, right? Because he's a Kaiju deck, he wants to go second. Um, so he has a 40 card deck, right? So in my other video, when I played against the Grand Maju player, he had a 60 card deck. Grand Maju decks typically have, can typically go to 60 cards, but a pure Kaiju deck, and actually he runs a Fairy Tale Luna support, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, a pure Kaiju deck can basically just get away with 40 cards. That's all you really need. And then just a bunch of like going second support. Like in this case, he opens double Lightning Storm, which is like pretty hilarious. But yeah, uh, yeah, he has a very good opening hand. I have a very good opening hand. So let's get into it. Yeah, I will be going first in this. So let's see what happens. So normal rod, grab Soul Servant, Artemis, and then Fleur de Lis comes out, Anaconda, Dragoon. I'm going to get Salvation. Alright, so this is a really strong opening I had, right? If I had this opening against most regular meta decks, it would pretty much be game. Like I have let's count how many interruptions I have. Dragoon negate. I have a judgment to stop anything, right? I have Eternal Soul with Circle Banish. That's 3 interruptions, and then Punishment, which is 4 or maybe 5, depending how you count. Because if I send Entis, that's 2 pops, right? So I have a really strong board, like a lot of interruptions. Um, but yeah, but little do I know, I'm against a Kaiju deck. So let's see what happens. So he's gonna draw. So pretty good draw. He's gonna immediately Kaiju my Dragoon. Lightning Storm. My back row. I'm gonna Solemn Judgment that, and unfortunately he has a second Lightning Storm. Not much you can do about that. If I had another negate, I would have been able to stop it. But yeah, so this screws me completely. The reason I did not bother with using Eternal Soul to recycle Dark Magician and then salvage Rod is because A, I already have a Rod in hand, and B, I didn't want to risk getting OTK'd. Although I guess with Anaconda the field it wouldn't have mattered, but yeah, so he goes into his Kaiju. He uses the Kyoto Waterfront, which maybe he should have done before clearing my board. Oh, no, he can't Lightning Storm if this is on the field. Never mind. Yeah, he has to play this now. Alright, so he summons Fairy Tale Luna, which her effect basically allows her to... so I don't know if you've seen this card, but her effect is when she summons, she adds another spellcaster with the same attack. In this case, I guess he only runs Fairy Tale Luna. And then you target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and basically returns both cards to the hand unless the opponent has that card in their deck to mill to the graveyard. So since I don't have any Kaijus, like this is basically just returns to the hand, right? So Fairy Tale Luna is really good because she's a spellcaster. Uh, you can actually this can actually play through Secret Village of the Spellcasters, right? So anyway, so he's gonna use Luna. Luna's going to return the Kaiju to the hand, and then he's just going to beat over my Anaconda, right? So this is a really, annoying lock because... so he has a Kaiju, which he can use to replace anything I have. It'll be weaker than his current Kaiju, and he has a Fairy Tale Luna, which can always return his Kaiju to his hand. So it's kind of like an infinite lock here. Like, this is similar to having Alpha, the Master of Beasts, in your hand. If you have Alpha, depending on the attack of the Kaiju, he can summon... Kaiju, Alpha, and then return Alpha and the Kaiju to the hand. And in Kyoto Waterfront, adds counters, which will give his Kaiju's abilities. So if you read this Kaiju, it says, when a card effect is activated that targets one card, quick effect, remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field, negate the effect. So Kaijus, people forget, have effects other than summoning to your opponent's field. And this field spell here basically enables it. So anyway, I draw Soul Servant, which is a pretty good draw. So let's go into Rod. Rod will search Circle. Circle will stack Soul. I draw that. And then I'll get a draw, which is Upstart. Upstart goes into Nadir Servant, which is really good. So I use Nadir to try to... I forget what I try to pop with Entis. So Entis is going to try to pop the field spell. Because I know the field spell will make his Kaijus better. So he's going to use his Kaiju here to negate my Entis because it has 3 counters. And if you read this card, it says you can negate an effect and then destroy one card on the field, any card on the field, right? It doesn't have to be the card that was negated. So he's going to destroy Circle, which was pretty devastating. Maybe I don't know if that was a misplay. Maybe it was. But I mean, in any case, like he's gonna have a negate. Like so, even if I did keep Circle and Soul on the field, like he's just gonna negate it with his Kaiju. So what exactly would I be able to do anyway? So the Dogmatica engine is a little dead because he doesn't really go in extra deck monsters. He's just a bunch of Kaijus basically. So yeah, couldn't really follow up with Ecclesia. Unless I went into Artemis. Alright, yeah, so he just attacked over me. Yeah, he had a pretty good, like, he had a really good opening. Definitely did not expect the Kaiju. Obviously, he, like, his engine of, like, Kaijuing whatever card, returning to the hand, and then using the fact that this Kaiju has a negate with destroy effect that he can basically use every turn, is really good. So, yeah, definitely caught me by surprise there, and I lost game 1. Alright, so game 2, I actually choose to go second. Because I know he's a Kaiju deck, there's no incentive for me to go first, right? I'm perfectly okay going second. Or do I go first? Yeah. Yeah, I do choose to go second. He goes first, and he only has going second cards. Like, look at this freaking hand right here, right? He has a Pankratops, 2 Lightning Storms, a Harpies, and a Raigeki. Like, how insane is his hand? It's like his whole deck is for going second. Like, I don't know if he's even capable of going first. I guess he has Eater of Millions, which is okay going first. If he opens like Eater of Millions with like Mystic Mine, I guess he can just sit on that, right? I don't know. This is a super going second deck. So because I knew Kaiju decks like want to go first and want to go second, I let him go first, right? And he literally had no plays he could make. Like imagine if I had gone first here. He can just wreck my board, right? Because he has literally like 4 board clear cards. Like one Dragoon would like, yeah, like let's say I open Dragoon like going first. Yeah, he probably could like I had 1 negate, but look how many friggin' cards he has here for dealing with my board, right? Like so yeah, I chose to go second because I wanted to see if he had any plays going first, but also like by going second, I literally skip his turn, right? He instantly ended his turn. Um, and yeah, it basically makes it so that I'm pseudo going first, but I get to have a battle phase. Oh, almost forgot. Side deck. What do I do for side deck? I do go into Secret Village of the Spellcasters, even though he does have Fairy Tail Luna. Um, I may have forgotten the fact that she was a spellcaster, but knowing his deck, like okay, assuming Fairy Tail Luna is the only spellcaster in his deck, like most of the time Secret Village is going to absolutely wreck him, right? So that's why I side that in. What else? I keep my Nadir Servants. Although I don't know why. Like the Dogmatica package is pretty weak in this matchup. Doesn't do much. And then yeah, I don't make much changes. I keep Gozen Match because it's amazing against Kaijus. Yeah, that was basically it. Like nothing special with the side deck. All right, so let's see what happens. So going to Rod, Artemis. So all right, so I go Artemis, Soul Servant, and pass. Why do I do this? The reason I do this is because Like I could have made more plays. I could have set goes and I could have gone Magical Circle, Eternal Soul, follow up with Dark Magician. I could have set up a better board, but I decide, nah, I'm just gonna go Rod, grab Soul Servant, and then send Rod for Artemis. So because I made him go first, and he literally just ended his turn and did nothing. My hunch is that he doesn't really have many good plays, right? So instead of setting up a board and letting him break it, I'm just gonna like make like one little mini play, seeing if he tries to break this, right? Like if he tries to break my board, like I have a Soul Servant, like I don't care if he tries to pop this, right? I'll just chain. Like if he kills Artemis, like, or he tries to kill Artemis, like what are you seriously gonna Kaiju an 800 attack Link 1 monster? Like it would make no sense for him to like to Kaiju Artemis here, right? So I'm basically content with just saying, yeah, I'm gonna not play your game, right? I'm not gonna go into a strong board that you might be able to break. I'm just gonna chill and like basically wait for an OTK, right? I want to OTK him, um, because if he can't actually set up a board to defend himself, that means that as soon as I have the ability to OTK, I'm just gonna do it, right? So yeah, so I set this up here to set up the getting Soul Servant next, or rather Magician Souls next turn. So let's see what happens. So he does use Lightning Storm on my back row, and then I just stack souls, recycle Rod. So yeah, that was a huge waste of Lightning Storm, big bait. He definitely should not have done that. Alright, so anyway, my turn. I draw the souls that I stacked, so I can now go into Dragoon. Not only that, I can go into 2 Dragoons. Alright, so instead of going into 2 Dragoons, I really should have gone into 2 Dragoons and just OTK'd him. Oh no, because he's at 9,000. I guess he could have been at 8,000. Yeah, not sure if I could have OTK'd him, but I do have Gozen, and I know he's a Kaiju deck, so at this point I'm just gonna, like, Gozen. But, turns out, so I do Gozen on his draw phase, but he has the Dark Kaiju, so it's not going to matter. If this is Rivalry of Warlords, there's no Spellcaster Kaiju, but he does have Radiant, which I did not expect to see, and then he immediately Kaijus my Dragoon. And then he Lightning Storms, but I do have Judgment. Okay, he does have Harpy's Feather Duster, so at this point I am going to use, recycle my Rod through Dark Magician. So another good reason to do this is like Eternal Soul will clear my board. If I lose this Kaiju, he cannot summon his own Kaiju, right? And actually, he can't even, I didn't know he had Pankratops, so he can't even summon Pankratops right now. So clearing my board is good for me. Like it's actually good. So I'm gonna go Rod. What do I do here? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna reset my Soul Servant, or my Eternal Soul rather. Oh, I'm gonna make Dragoon. Oh, I think this is when I go for the OTK. Yeah, so I do go for an OTK here, I believe. Yeah, because I have lots of damage here. Yep, OTK. All right. So yeah, I did go for OTK. Maybe I could have waited one more turn and then like OTK'd him instead of doing my play last time. But yeah, I didn't. It was okay. Like it ended up working out. Yeah, he opened a hand that was like really good at clearing boards, but not good at establishing his own board by himself, right? So that was his problem. So that's kind of the problem with Kaiju decks. It's like it's fun and gimmicky, but as soon as you realize, oh, it sucks at going first and it can't do anything, it's kind of like Psyframe decks. I don't know if you ever played a Psyframe deck, but the best way to beat Psyframe decks is to not play. Just don't play, right? Because Psyframe decks require their opponent, the opponent to do something. So the opponent does nothing, they can't do anything either. So similar to Kaiju decks here. So let's go to game 3. In game 3, so he chose for me to go first because he wants to go second. And what did I side? Let me see what my side is. I obviously whole Gozen match is really good. I don't think I changed anything about my side deck. Yeah, I was happy with how my side deck was. So check this out. So I'm going first. So he makes me go first here. So look what I'm gonna do on my first turn. I go straight to end phase, right? Because I know if I set up, I do not have goes in match. If I set up Dragoon with Rod and Souls, he's just gonna Kaiju me and then just clear my back row, right? So I mean, yeah, I have judgment, but like, he just proved last game that he has multiple back row clear, like not just Lightning Storm. He has Harpies. I'm sure he has like Twin Twisters or Cosmics. Like, I'm just not gonna play, right? Again, just like against Psyframe decks, like against a Kaiju deck, just don't play. Wait until you have OTK and then pull the trigger, right? Because look at his hand, right? What is he gonna do? He can't interrupt the Kaiju Slumber if there are no monsters on the field. He cannot Gamma Seal with no monsters on the field. He cannot Alpha with no monsters on the field. Mystic Mine does nothing if there's no monsters on the field. I guess he has this field cell which can help him like search Kaijus, but like he can't use it, right? So I'm just gonna end my turn. Well, like why set or do anything if I'm not gonna OTK him, right? So I'm just gonna pass and see what he does, right? I want to see if he does anything. So terraforming, he sets that, and then that's it. He has nothing. He literally cannot play because like his deck requires me to do something. So if I do nothing, all right. So I draw Upstart Goblin, and I'm just gonna end my turn again, right? I'm gonna wait until I have enough like cards where I know I can OTK him, right? Because I don't want him to have a turn. If I give him a turn, he might be able to do something to me. But in this case, I'm like, I'm in no rush. If you're not gonna set up a board, I'm not gonna set up a board either, right? We'll play this game all day long. So I draw Call by the Grave, which is not a good card, in this matchup, right? Because like, what am I gonna Call by the Grave? He doesn't have any effects that it doesn't make sense, right? So the reason I set this card is I want to see if I can bait a Lightning Storm. Like, remember last game when I baited a Lightning Storm with a single Soul Servant? Like, so I think, okay, Call by the Grave doesn't really do anything against his deck, but maybe it's just baits a Lightning Storm, right? So he ends up on my end phase just Cosmic Cycloning this. I'm like, okay, I'm totally cool with that. But again, he can't do anything. Like, all his cards are going second cards that depend on me playing, right? So I draw Red Eyes. I use Upstart to just get another draw. I set Solemn Judgment. I set Solemn Judgment for the similar reason. I want to see if I can bait more back row clear, right? Oh look, he draws a Cyclone and is like, yeah, I'll trade a Judgment for a Cyclone, right? Like, whatever. Alright, have engage. Let's get, so I set Hornet Drones, which is going to be funny. Alright, so he doesn't have any more back row clear. So, like, if he tried to clear me, I could just, I could let it go, because I don't need Hornet Drones. Like, I could either chain it, or I can just let it die, right? Just baiting back row clear at this point. Alright, so at this point, I think I pulled the trigger, because I have the ability to go into two Dragoons. So I'm going to Hornet Drones. Alright, yeah. At this point, I realize I have OTK potential. I'm going to pull the trigger and just finish him, right? So, Fugari, grab Hornet Drones, because I already have Eagle Booster. Another Hornet Drones. So at this point, I'm just trying to get bodies on the field, right? Yep, first Dragoon, second Dragoon, and it's game. That's it. Like, now that I have OTK potential, I'm just going to kill him, right? Yeah, sometimes the best way to play is to not play. Yeah, if I ever run into a Psyframe deck, you're gonna expect to see a similar strategy where I don't do anything until I have all the cards I need to like ensure my victory, right? Which is what I did there. Yeah, you might say that's kind of boring, but like you gotta be smart sometimes. You have to know how decks work, know how cards interact, and then make decisions wisely. Like, don't just do your combo just because you have it. Like, actually think about what would happen if you do your combo. Like in game one, I did a full combo. I set up a really good board, like theoretically unbreakable against most meta decks, and he broke it just because he's a Kaiju deck. Kaiju decks are like built to break boards. But that's all they can do. They can't actually establish their own board without me establishing mine first. So anyway, so that I don't know. That was an entertaining like game, and just something. Just wanted to showcase interesting matchup, and just how you should think, like, and just be smart about how you make your plays. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. My next video will be against a more meta heavy deck, which I think you'll enjoy. So yeah, if you're really struggling or like struggling with the current format, fear not. I will eventually get to update deck profile and newer, more modern matchups. All right. Thanks for watching.